What if one of the most famous unsolved murders in American history is finally headed toward a courtroom answer, but the trial may never tell us who actually pulled the trigger? Nearly 30 years after Tupac Shakur was shot in Las Vegas, Duane "Keffe D" Davis is now on trial, accused of orchestrating the attack that ended the life of one of hip-hop's most influential artists. And as jury selection begins today, August 10, 2026, prosecutors are preparing to make a case built largely around Davis's own words. The story goes back to the night of September 7, 1996. Tupac was riding in a BMW driven by Death Row Records co-founder Marion "Suge" Knight after the Mike Tyson fight in Las Vegas. Earlier that night, Shakur and Knight had confronted Orlando "Baby" Lane Anderson, Davis's nephew, after a fight inside the MGM Grand. Later, a white Cadillac pulled alongside Knight's BMW near the Las Vegas Strip, gunfire erupted, and Tupac was struck 4 times. Knight survived, but Tupac died 6 days later at just 25 years old. For years, there was no arrest and no courtroom. The investigation became one of the biggest cold cases in music history. Then the case suddenly came back to life, and one of the most important developments came from Davis himself. He had publicly discussed his involvement and later co-wrote the memoir, Compton Street Legend, describing himself as being inside the Cadillac and saying he obtained and passed along the gun. Those statements eventually became central to the investigation that led to his 2023 arrest and murder charge. But here's where this trial gets very different from the mystery many people have imagined for decades. Prosecutors do not have to prove that Davis personally fired the fatal shots. Under Nevada law, a person can face a murder charge for participating in the killing even if someone else pulled the trigger. Prosecutors allege Davis was the person directing the operation and that he helped provide the weapon used in the attack. And because the other 3 men believed to have been in the Cadillac with Davis have since died, the question of exactly who fired the gun may remain unanswered. That doesn't mean the prosecution's case is simple. Davis has pleaded not guilty, and his defense has challenged the statements prosecutors want the jury to hear. In June, Judge Carly Kearney ruled that Davis's memoir could be used at trial. Then in July, the judge also ruled that a 2008 police interview could be admitted. Those decisions could become extremely important because prosecutors are expected to argue that Davis repeatedly talked about his role in the shooting long before he was charged. And then there's Suge Knight. He is arguably the most important living eyewitness connected directly to that night, because he was sitting in the driver's seat when the shooting happened. But Knight has now made it clear that he does not want to testify. In a recent interview with ABC News, Knight said he doesn't want to cooperate with either side and warned that forcing him into the case could hurt whoever calls him. He is currently serving a 28-year sentence in California for an unrelated 2015 killing. That's a major twist, because Knight's testimony could have offered the jury a first-hand perspective from inside the BMW. Instead, prosecutors may have to build their case through Davis's previous statements, witnesses connected to the events surrounding the shooting, law enforcement testimony, gang experts, and other evidence. The trial is expected to last roughly 4 weeks, although Reuters reports it could run as long as 6 weeks. And there's another reason this case has captured so much attention. Tupac wasn't simply another celebrity whose death became a headline. His murder became intertwined with the explosive East Coast-West Coast rivalry that defined the era of hip-hop. Just months after Tupac's death, the notorious B.I.G. was also murdered in Los Angeles, creating decades of speculation about whether the 2 killings were connected. But Biggie's murder remains unsolved, and speculation should not be confused with proven fact. Now, after nearly 3 decades, Davis is finally sitting before a jury. He faces 1 murder charge and, if convicted, could spend the rest of his life behind bars. But the biggest question hanging over this courtroom may be even more complicated than who killed Tupac. It may be whether prosecutors can convince a jury that Davis played the role they allege, using evidence from a man whose own public accounts have changed over the years. Tupac's music has survived for generations, and his influence is still obvious nearly 30 years after his death. Now the courtroom gets its chance to examine the story behind one of the most famous murders in American pop culture. Whether this trial finally delivers justice, or leaves some of the mystery intact, one thing is certain: the Tupac Shakur murder case has entered a chapter that fans waited decades to see. If you found this update helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Unix Media, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest news. Thanks for watching.